And I know it wasn't announced that Caitlin Clark wouldn't play until right before, but this is a preseason game where Clark is not available, and yet
You want to body slam me? Fine, I'll just score 21 on you. That was essentially Sophie Cunningham's message after Mystics rookie Kiki Iriafen delivered a flagrant foul that could have seriously hurt the Fever's new addition.
This proves there is an agenda against the Indiana Fever. There is an attack agenda.
In a preseason match that felt anything but friendly, the Indiana Fever revealed traits rarely seen last year: toughness, unity, and a drive to protect one another. Even without Caitlin Clark, sidelined due to a nagging leg issue, the team refused to be bullied. A new identity was born, one where players like Cunningham, Lexi Hull, and Dewana Bonner stood firm. In this video, we'll break down Sophie's fiery response, how Indiana stood its ground, and the Mystics' post-game reaction. If you're with Indiana, comment Spicy Sophie below. Let's go.
This is the first time we're witnessing this. They're attacking Sophie Cunningham just like they did Caitlin last year. There is an agenda against this basketball team, and I'm calling it out right now. The league better step in immediately. They better step in immediately. We better not be dealing with what we dealt with last year with Caitlin.
What happens when your franchise player watches from the bench? For the Fever, it meant opening preseason against Washington without Caitlin Clark. This wasn't just any absence, it marked her first missed game in 5 years, covering her entire college career and rookie WNBA stint. Head coach Stephanie White made the tough decision, sitting Clark due to what she described as slight leg tightness. "We have to think long-term," White said, prioritizing Clark's health for the longer season ahead. Wise move, but it left Indiana very exposed in the short term.
I mean, look, the biggest thing is we got to think long-term. Like, we got to make sure that we're not putting Caitlin at risk for injury. We're not putting our team in a position, where we're thinking short term and not long term. It's a long season, 4 more games than last season. So we want to make sure that we're extra cautious and put her health and wellness first and foremost. And honestly, it's been one day at a time. How she's reacted to treatment, how she's reacted to workouts. So positive progress is being made, but we can't be short-sighted.
The opening quarter was rough for the Fever, who quickly fell behind 24-13 as the Mystics seized control. With missed layups and zero rhythm on offense, Indiana looked completely out of sync. The gap widened to 15, and fans had to wonder, was this game already out of reach?
This team came out very slow, very lethargic, very stuck in the mud, very dragging ass, didn't have energy to them, didn't have flow to them.
Picture this. The Washington Mystics spotted vulnerability and attacked right away. Their physical style took over from the start, pushing Indiana around and waiting for someone to respond in Caitlin Clark's absence. They sensed blood, and for a while, it looked like the Mystics would cruise to an easy win against a Clarkless Fever team.
Stephanie White seemed frustrated. We were down 15. Stephanie White called the timeout, and she must have stuck her foot up her team's ass and said, you see this arena? You see all these fans that came to watch you guys? 12,461 people. They didn't come to watch you guys bullshit. They didn't come to watch you guys drag ass. Let's play some defense and let's get it together offensively.
Then came an unexpected spark off the bench. Lexi Hull. Her hustle and energy disrupted the Mystics as she racked up 4 steals and scored 13 vital points to keep Indiana close. Kelsey Mitchell praised Hull's gritty effort, crediting her with igniting the comeback when the team needed a lift.
Lexi Hull looked the most confident I've ever seen Lexi Hull look. Lexi Hull looked the most confident I have ever seen Lexi Hull look, putting the ball on the ground, taking it to the rack, shooting threes, middies, turnaround fades. Whether they went in or not, we can get into that another day once the season starts. But the fact that she's confident enough in her game to where she's at least willing to try to do something to make the offense happen, to create points, to create confusion among the defense.
Despite the early hole and double-digit deficit, Indiana showed serious resilience. Caitlin Clark's absence didn't become an excuse, it became a challenge. Other players started clicking. the defense got sharper, and suddenly, that huge lead didn't look quite so unbeatable.
Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hull, these two players. Sophie Cunningham gave us 21, Lexi Hull gave us 13. The Blonde Bombers is what they're calling them. We were down 15 in the first half. Why were we down 15? We cut it to within 3 at half.
How did Indiana keep things close without Clark? Not by relying on one player to fill her 20-point void, but by stepping up as a unit. Together, they played hard and stayed defiant in the face of Washington's rough tactics. But the Mystics' physical style soon backfired. Midway through the second quarter, the game flipped when Mystics rookie Kiki Iriafen delivered what looked more like a wrestling move than a basketball foul on Sophie Cunningham.
No, it wasn't announced that Caitlin Clark wouldn't play until right before. This is a preseason game where Clark is not available, and yet
This wasn't your average hard foul. It resembled something out of the WWE. Cunningham, a new addition via a 4-team trade, had been finding her flow and chipping away at Washington's lead. Her off-ball movement caused problems for the defense until the moment everything shifted with that one violent foul.
probably have 10,000 people here and a real home court advantage.
That's Sophie Cunningham. There you go. I mean, she's right there saying, don't you do that. She's telling the rookie right now.
As the two battled for a rebound, Iriafen grabbed Cunningham and slammed her to the hardwood. The crowd let out a collective gasp. For a moment, everyone froze. Then Cunningham popped up and immediately confronted Iriafen face to face.
And that's Kiki Iriafen, and I got to tell you, here we go with the smiling like you've done. I don't get it. This is the worst part of the WNBA. It is.
You don't do that. You don't do that, Cunningham shouted. Her words clearly picked up on the broadcast. Officials quickly intervened, but the incident had already changed the tone. After review, Iriafen received a flagrant one, a surprisingly light punishment considering the severity of the hit.
I mean, yikes. Kiki, the new Kennedy. A lot of people not happy. Demon Sophie, yeah, she showed up. Look at this. They're celebrating that. Okay. I mean, it's crazy. Here we go again. Here we go again. She's yelling while Kiki's laughing in her face. Never seen a rook have a vet so rattled.
But Washington wasn't done going after Cunningham. Later in the game, Brittany Sykes shoved her hard, sending her crashing again. This wasn't just physical basketball, it was clear bullying. A pattern was emerging of Mystics players deliberately targeting Cunningham.
This was another one right here. This was Brittany Sykes, and DeWanna Bonner got involved in this one. She did. Little standing on business.
The Fever bench came alive. This wasn't last year's Indiana squad that got shoved around. DeWanna Bonner, another seasoned addition, immediately stepped up to confront Sykes, embodying the new team mentality. Protect each other, at all costs. The message was loud and clear: target one Fever player, and you deal with them all. What stood out was how these moments flipped the game on its head. The Mystics tried to play tough, tried to rattle Indiana. Instead, they lit a fire in Sophie Cunningham and unified the entire roster. Officials assessed penalties after review, and play resumed, but the vibe on the court had completely shifted. Indiana wasn't scared they were ignited. Coach Stephanie White later called Cunningham a dog hoops lingo for someone with unrelenting grit and heart.
Oh my God, Sophie's a dog. She just is, she's a competitor. She's versatile, so she allows us to do different things. Like, she plays with such a toughness. She's huge, and she's going to be for us all season long. But what she brings from an energy standpoint, she raises the level of play of everybody around her as soon as she steps foot on the floor. Hell, even on the sideline. I mean, her communication, everything. She's definitely an X factor.
So, what exactly caused these flare-ups? Was it the Mystics getting rattled as their lead slipped away? Or maybe an intentional effort to intimidate Indiana's newest asset? Whatever the reason, their plan backfired badly. Instead of breaking Cunningham's spirit, they lit up her competitive drive. Rather than shaking the fever, they pulled the team closer together. And instead of cruising to a win, they opened the door for one of the most satisfying comebacks imaginable. The Mystics tried to bully Sophie Cunningham, and it was a costly mistake. When confronted with that kind of physical intimidation, Cunningham had a simple reply: drop 21 points and carry her squad to victory, which is exactly what she did.
Lexi Holt gets a nice steal here, runs down the court, finds Sophie Cunningham, who pumps up the
Drawn on the drive. High arcing pass, it was too high. Holt pulls down the rebound. Here's Cunningham again. Cunningham coast to coast.
What a first half for Sophie Cunningham.
And this is as we've clawed back after being down 15.
After being thrown down by Kiki Iriafen, you could see something shift in Sophie Cunningham. The frustration in her face turned into a razor-sharp focus. Her moves got crisper. Her attacks more direct. She wasn't just playing, she was making a statement. From mid-range shots to aggressive drives and deep threes, her full offensive toolkit was in motion. The Mystics kept getting physical, trying to rough her up, but every shove seemed to fuel her even more. She shot an efficient 6 for 11 from the field, nearly 55%, and was even sharper at the line, hitting 7 of 8 for 87.5%. This wasn't just scoring, it was smart, high-efficiency basketball when it counted most.
Sophie Cunningham, 12 points, 3 rebounds, 1 steal in 11 minutes off the bench in the first half. Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Holt played a majority of this game for the Indiana Fever. And they played together a majority of the time they were in this game. Sophie Cunningham showed exactly why we brought her in here. We won that trade hands down. Hands down, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We won the Sophie Cunningham trade.
But scoring wasn't. Her only impact, Cunningham attacked the glass for 8 rebounds, scrambled for every loose ball, and brought the kind of relentless effort that charges up an entire roster. That's why Coach White didn't hesitate to call her a dog after the game, the ultimate badge of honor for someone who fights like every possession matters.
Austin looking backdoor and got it to Cunningham.
You guys know what else we're seeing in all these videos? Movement. AB. Up there comes Kelsey around the top. There goes Lexi Holt, back door. Sophie Cunningham, back door. Lexi Holt goes back out to the corner. God forbid, folks, we are seeing things that we haven't seen at all last season.
By the fourth quarter, Indiana's comeback had fully kicked in, with Cunningham leading the charge. The Mystics' once commanding 15-point edge vanished. The game was now knotted up and headed to overtime, setting the stage for Cunningham's perfect payback. In that final period, she completely took over, hitting clutch shots, sinking pressure free throws, and stepping up when everything was on the line. The same Washington players who tried to shake her earlier could only stand by as she dismantled them, play by play.
I saw Sophie Cunningham playing out of this world. Made me feel good. I saw ball movement on offense. Made me feel good. I saw no volleyball passes on. Made me feel good. I saw fight from everybody that was on the court at once. There was no 4 versus 5 when it came to fight, heart on the. We weren't lacking that today. We weren't lacking heart at all. And in case people thought this team might be lacking some heart, you got one thing coming to you. You think you're going to be pushing around Sophie Cunningham like that? Don't worry. Sophie, I got.
Coach White didn't hold back. She lifts the whole team the second she's on the floor, even from the bench, with her voice, her leadership, all of it. She's the X factor. The irony couldn't have been clearer. The very player Washington tried to rattle was the reason they lost. Their plan blew up in their faces. Instead of breaking Cunningham's spirit, they ignited her fire. And how did Sophie answer the body? Slam from Kiki Iriafen. By torching the Mystics for a game-high 21 points, pulling down 8 rebounds, and sealing the deal in overtime. The message couldn't have been louder. Try to intimidate Sophie Cunningham, and she'll make you pay where it hurts on the scoreboard.
We have people that aren't going to put up with the nonsense this year. You want to try the Fever? Go ahead and try us. Go ahead and try. 1 through 5. Somebody's going to step up and get in your face. Someone's going to step up and say, you need to relax. Whether it's DeWanna Bonner here or Sophie Cunningham on the bottom of your screen. You mess with this team, we have some people that are going to stand up for themselves and stand up for others.
As the final buzzer echoed through Gainbridge Fieldhouse, something far bigger than just a preseason win had taken place. What we witnessed was the emergence of a brand new Indiana Fever team. Last season, this squad was one that opponents could easily push around. Teams would get physical, and the Fever often backed down. Not anymore.
First and foremost, they play so hard. They play with multiple levels of effort. They're both just tough as nails. They have length. They use their length really well, their activity level on the defensive end and offensively. I mean, they're like mirror images of one another. I mean, the way that they can cut, the way that they can spread the floor, and what they bring on the defensive end of the.
The most telling moment came post-game when Washington Mystics players, the very ones who had been delivering body slams and shoves throughout the night, refused to shake hands. Instead, they stormed off to the locker room. Why? Because they had just watched their own tactics backfire. As a team, they thought they could bully turned the tables on them. Over 12,000 fans packed the arena, creating an electric atmosphere. The crowd roared with every defensive stop, every made basket, and especially when Fever players stood up for one another after those cheap shots. Sophie Cunningham noticed, calling the fans the sixth man and praising their energy for driving the comeback.
You want to make sure that your home court is special to you as a team, but you want to make it hard as heck for other people to come in here to Gainbridge, and they don't want to play here, right? And I think with that, as an energy player, you got to get your fans involved. That's our sixth man right there.
This wasn't just a win. It was a full team transformation. Lexi Hull snagged 4 steals, diving for loose balls and disrupting passing lanes, complementing Cunningham's offensive fireworks. Kelsey Mitchell, DeWanna Bonner, Lexi Hull, and Cunningham all showcased the new identity forming right before our eyes. The veteran additions have completely reshaped the team's DNA. Cunningham and Bonner aren't just providing scoring and rebounding, they're bringing a mentality, a toughness that's spreading throughout the entire roster. When Kiki Iriafen body slammed Cunningham, notice how quickly Bonner stepped in. That didn't happen last season.
Put Sophie in position where she was running the point guard, right? We put Lexi in position at the end of the game where she was running the point guard. And so I'm thankful to have players like that who are comfortable being uncomfortable and doing what's necessary for our team to find success. I mean, that's part of, one of our core values is be selfless, and sometimes that means playing out of position. And I thought they both did a great job of that, but really like their energy and competitive spirit.
Coach Stephanie White emphasized the fundamentals that made this victory possible. The Fever went an incredible 27 for 28. From the free throw line, 96.4%. In tight games, those points can be the difference between winning and losing. The defense also made a massive impact. I loved that we picked up full court for most of the game, White said. Our defense really gave us a chance to get back in the game and gave us a chance to finish it out.
I liked our aggressiveness. I liked the fact that we picked up, pretty much 94 feet, that they didn't get anything easy. I mean, it's not often that you come out with a win in games where you shoot 30% from the floor. And I felt like our defense really held, gave us an opportunity to get back in the game, gave us an opportunity to finish the game.
This wasn't just another win. This was a statement. The Indiana Fever are no longer the same team that opponents bullied last season. They're tougher, more resilient, and united when the going gets tough. The Mystics thought they could use physical intimidation as a strategy, but it completely backfired. Rather than breaking the Fever's spirit, it strengthened them. Instead of establishing dominance, they awakened a sleeping giant. That's why the Mystics couldn't face the Fever in the handshake line. They had just seen the birth of a team that won't be pushed around anymore. A team that turned Washington's physical tactics against them.
This isn't the soft Fever team that you can push around last year. Let's just push them around and bully them because nobody on that team has any to step up to us. Don't worry, we took the offseason seriously.
This preseason, victory showed us something truly special developing in Indiana. The Fever are no longer just Caitlin Clark's team. They are a squad with heart, fight, and an identity built on toughness. When Clark returns to join warriors like Cunningham, Hull and Bonner, watch out. The 2025 Fever could very well become the team nobody wants to face. They've got scoring, defense, and now attitude. The message from this game couldn't be clearer. Try to bully the Indiana Fever at your own peril. They're standing up. For each other, they're not backing down, and they're just getting started. If you stand with Indiana, comment Spicy Sophie below, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we'll see you in the next one.